2023 NRL Finals, Week 2, done and dusted. New Zealand Warriors, too much for the Knights. Go Media Stadium, an absolute sight to be seen. Let's take a look how this one played out. Hey team, welcome back into the Warriorholic. Wow, what a game last night. Absolutely amazing. No words to really describe it, more than anyone could have dreamed of. Before I get into wrapping my boys, I'd just like to take a minute to congratulate the Knights on a magnificent end to their season. Obviously wasn't the result they were looking for last night, and was probably a pretty disappointing scoreline in the end, but to go 10 from 10 to get to where they did, off the back of all that pressure of the media, putting on Adam O'Brien there, pressure on Kalen Ponga, worries about his head knocks, but man, he stepped up for them. Man, the boys just had an outstanding run home there. So I'm sure their fans are proud. It's all the Knights fans who made the trip over. I hope you had a good time. Hope the locals treated you well. I went up and tried to shake as many of your hands at the end of it as I could. Great sports. At the end of the day, it's just sport. So, I hope you had a good trip. As disappointing as it was, but we're quite happy to have you on the bandwagon for the rest of the finals here. What many would consider the underdog up against three of the big traditional teams. So, mate, I just don't know where to start. First of all, it was just great to get together with so many of the other Warriors creators there, other people that I follow or follow me, or we've bantered online either on Twitter, Insta, YouTube, TikTok, the like, Facebook. Over the past season, it's been absolutely awesome to have you all on the channels. But to meet a few of you in person there, that was awesome. Getting together though with the likes of Waz Up, Daniel from Warriors Anonymous there, Brad Inger, Warriors Fan TV there. They were awesome to meet him there with Nick. I think Chris, the other fella there. Just awesome to get together with all those people who have put in so many hours this year. It's just great to see it's not a rivalry, it's just a kinship that we all support each other and get together. So, it's nice to have you on my channel, but it's also nice to know that you're getting other quality content out there to give us something a little bit different from what you see on the Sky or the, Fox channels over the season. Next up, the crowd. Shit, I've never been in anything like that in my life. I've been to, World Cup semi-finals, New Zealand and overseas. I've been to, pro baseball games, pro soccer games. Granted, I've never been to the European games, but man, that was the most outstanding game I've ever been to. The crowd, shit. I'm finally starting to get my voice back. Just couldn't stop singing along with everyone there. It's just, I've always wondered why Kiwis can never get behind their teams a bit more, like you see in the, the European competitions. But shit, it's really started to grow. I look back against the Sharkies there, probably a couple of months ago now. Started to build there. The Manly game I went to before at Japan started to build there. But on the weekend, it was next level. I'm usually the guy shouting to try and get other people to come along with me, but there was a massive group of guys in the south end of the east stand there, right by us, probably in about bay 49 or 50. Right, together with them out, it's just so awesome to just get the chants going, and you just feel the energy. And it's a bit of a shame, I went back and watched the game after, got home to my hotel last night, and again on the plane this morning, and the TV pictures and the sound just doesn't do it justice. I reckon it's 50%. It was 50% higher being there in person, like the sound volume and so forth. So that must have been so intimidating and annoying for the Knights when they started to get on the back foot. It must play mind games with them. So I think we've got to maintain that now. Sell that ground out every week next year, even in the tough times if we have them, and just get those chants going, keep that voice going. And no one's going to want to come and play at Go Media Stadium. But yeah, on to the real thing, on to the boys, mate. All that, stress and worry and millions of people making up millions of theories about SJ's leg over the past few weeks. In my heart, I honestly didn't know if he could get back. Calves, I've never done one, but I've had mates who've done them and they just never seem to go away. And I feared that if he did play, it might go early. He might be a bit hesitant, but shit. Right from the first set, the guy was probably better than he's been all season. So you know, who would have expected that 16-0 after about 12 minutes, a point a minute, shell-shocked the Knights. It was great to see that they got back into it. For the second 20 minutes of the first half there and the first 10 minutes of the second half, they were starting to dominate field position, but I never felt like they were ever going to get it one up over us. I had the pleasure of sitting with Waz up there, the king of analysis, as we watched that game, and I said to him when we got into the start of the second half, I felt like we were backloading our energy. We were absorbing tackles rather than trying to be dominant. And as soon as we just got a couple of errors and we managed to pin them into their corner and the game turned, then we started to front load it and we just smashed them and kept them down in those corners, and SJ's kicking to right and down into that right-hand corner there to tie up, who was it? It was Marju in that right corner, and Ponga to put all the pressure on them. So from the Knights' perspective, like I said, it'll be bloody disappointing, but I think we came up with a game plan to nullify Ponga, and if you can do that, he was the centre of their play, and like I said in my preview, their centres and him are the ones who had the most try assists in their team, so I didn't expect them to be dropping down too much without Hastings, because he wasn't creating a heck of a lot. He was more of a game sort of director, and the creation was coming out wide, but we shut down both of their centres and Ponga, and as a result we managed to shut down their wings, so it's a huge credit to us as far as like scoring goes. But every one of their back five were well up over 100 metres in running metres. Marju was 199, so it's not like they didn't play well and didn't run big numbers. We were just able to stop them scoring tries, stop those line breaks, so really proud of the boys for that. Big loss for them to lose Daniel Saifidi there before the game. His brother gave it a hell of an effort. He was the only one of their forwards who made it over 100 metres actually, so that's a great sign that we were winning the middle. Just a quick note here, mate, we've got a bit of a Wellington special here, massive southerly wind going, so there's all kinds of things rattling in the background. I'm not sure how much that's coming through the mic, but yeah, so back to the Knights. Well done to them. Great season to get back from where they were. It was pretty cool to sort of start out that season being at the first game there in Wellington, us managing to scrape away with that wind and sort of launching things off for us. They didn't go so well. They were a little bit up and down. They thrashed us the second time we came up against them, or thrashed us. They put like 34 points on us, or maybe 36, I think was the biggest score we conceded this season. And coming in with all that momentum, a lot of people over in Australia were thinking they were just going to have too much for us after we got beaten by the Panthers in the way we did. But as soon as Sean Johnson just came back in and played the way he did, I think it unlocked everything. For me, that was the best game we played all season. If you take the occasion out of it, it was pretty much on par with what we did against the Sharks at home, but given the pressure of the occasion, sudden death, off the back of that loss last week, back-to-back losses, including the Dolphins, a lot of times that pressure of the home crowd, the expectation makes you try a little bit hard, but the boys just went about their business clinically. And I love the fact that Webby just said that his biggest fear was that they wouldn't go out and play their ball. They'd try to do things and make things up on the fly, but they didn't. They just stuck to the processes. And you could just see, even with that noise, everyone knew where to be. Everyone knew where that pass was coming. And when they managed to get those shapes going, they were clinical. 7 tries. So honestly, I couldn't have asked for more. Birthday party there. Birthday on Friday there. So what a way to celebrate it with 26,000 whānau there screaming our lungs out. So let's take a look at how the game played out. Man, I'm glad this isn't the last one I have to do for the year. Really hoping I've got another couple of weeks of this to go yet. So 40-10. Well, no one would have predicted that kind of kicking. I saw a few people throw it out there thinking if we clicked and SJ played, we might win by 20, but shit, 30 points, 7 tries to 2. Pompey with his kicking, he missed that first one. People sort of started to get a little bit iffy, but then to kick 6 from 6 after that, including all those ones on the sideline, it was just so much fun. You could tell by the noise of the crowd behind the post as soon as the ball came off his foot, and it was just so awesome to see the smile on his face. So the 2 tries for them and 1 kick from 2 there for Kalen. 56-54% possession. They did maintain a lot of possession there, as I said, in the second 20 of the first half and the first 10 or so of the second half. So the possession potentially didn't reflect the score so much. Time and possession quite similar there. Great to see us up over 80%. You got to be completing around the 85% completion rate, I think, to be competitive against the top teams, and 82 was pretty good there. We had 10 more sets than them with the ball in hand. I think we'd scored 3 times before they completed a set. 3 times. Bloody hard to come back from that, and that's just an example of how clinical we can be when we get our mindset in the right place. What do we want to attacking here? All runs there. 221 runs for us versus 174 for them. Running meters 2,070 versus 1,446, and they led the NRL in tackle breaks, so right up there in line breaks and with meters. So to dominate them in so much, 738 post contact meters to 504, line breaks 7-2, tackle breaks 47 to 26. Like I said, their backs they had about 4 guys in the top 15 for tackle breaks. To limit those, it just showed what our boys are capable of. Average distance per set there, 5 extra meters on there with 44 to 39. Kick return meters 226 from my man Chance or DWZ or Montoya, depending on who took it. We did a really good job of getting all 3 of our backs, our back 3 back there to take the kicks to give us options. 195 for them. 3.36 versus 3.46, big difference here in the play of the ball speed. Well done, boys. Kicks, what do we got here? 22 versus 20, but 734 metres for us versus 680 for them. I think it was 630 of those metres came from SJ. Just a few others there came from Walks and Tamati Martin. But they stepped up and kicked well when SJ went off. Well done to them. Forced dropouts, 2 for SJ, 1 for my man Ford. Well done, brother. Perfectly timed little kick there. Kick defusal, this is a great one. We've been down around the 50% lately, up to 71 there, ahead of them. Tackle efficiency, 89% versus 87. Great tackle efficiency for them, actually. Tackles made, 335. Mate, they made another 80 tackles over us with 470 tackles there over us with 409. Missed tackles 47 versus 26. Ineffective tackles 14 versus 10. I think the ineffective tackles is something that doesn't worry me too much, because when we get those players, I've said it countless times, Gagai and the like, who tend to bounce in and out of tackles, we don't panic and rush up. We let them sort of bounce in and out of tackles and hold our line so they don't end up getting a line break there. So pretty happy with that effort. On to the negative plays. Still double figures for the errors there, 10. But it's better than the 14, 15 we have up there, only 9 for them. Penalties conceded, just the 2 versus 3. There probably could have been more in the game, but in some ways they did let the game run a little bit, so you can't complain there. No ruck infringements for us, that was really good to see. A couple there were a little bit borderline, but maybe it's a home crowd getting the refs a little bit behind us for once. 4 for them, trying to hold us down because the ruck play the ball speed for ours was just ridiculous. Inside the 10s, 2 to us, none to them is a little bit odd, and plenty of times they're particularly off kicks. They're outside backs or 2 or 3 metres offside, and we're well inside the 10 when it comes to like tackling our guys running it back. Great to see no one on report for us. That's a massive bonus. So overall, like from the stats, they reflected the result. We pretty much dominated all the key stats there. And that's just a sign of what we can do when we get our heads right. We get our best team on the field. Like I said, for me, that was our best team on the field on the weekend. I don't think we could have played a better team. Arguably, Metcalf, is there a place for him? He was outstanding, but I think, I'll get on to Tamati Martin in a little bit more detail in a moment, but I think a fully fit Tamati Martin just now is probably slightly sneaks ahead of Metcalf, particularly in finals footy. I think depending on the opposition, you can sort of rotate them to in and out, but for a finals game, I don't think we could have played a better team, to be completely honest. Rightio, on to the individuals. Chance, Nickel Clogstead. I've done it, people. For those who don't watch my channel too regularly, or maybe watching for the first time, the way I give my scores is out of 10, and I'm not comparing against a certain criteria or comparing players for players. I mark out of what I think these players are capable of. So 10 being a perfect performance from them. So if you have an 8.5, that means you probably had 15% left in you. I haven't given anyone a 10 all year, but I think given the circumstances, what we were coming off the back of, the expectation, the do or die, I could not expect anything more from Chance. So I had to give him a 10. He made a couple of errors, but with the amount of ball that goes through his hands, the amount of fatigue he was dealing with, I think that's human. So I'm not counting those against him. 32 runs, 297 metres. I've seen as high as 299. I saw one before they were reviewed was over 300. 78 post-contact metres. Tackle efficiency, 86 there. 6 made, 1 missed. So, it looks bad, but he only made 1 missed tackle there to drop him down 86%. 8 tackle breaks, 1 line break assist, 1 try and 1 try assist. What more could you want from your fullback? Up against, arguably, in many people's eyes, the best fullback in the comp. Outplayed him. 10 out of 10, Chance. You are the man. I think you're the heart of our team in many ways. Your effort areas, they don't go unnoticed by the fans. Taking 3 hit-ups a set sometimes, and I know that lifts the boys. So thank you so much for everything you've done this year, brother. You have been the utter epitome of what a warrior means to me. Well done. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. I don't think there's, what could I have asked for much more out of him? I don't know. Maybe 9.5. Maybe if he'd got 2 tries, I don't know. Close to perfection for me. Probably not his biggest running meters of the year or something. I don't know. Very close to perfection, but not quite. 156 meters, 58 post-contact meters. Just 3 tackles needing to be made out there, which is a great sign that we marked up inside there. 3 made, 1 missed, 75%. 6 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, 1 line break assist, 1 try and 1 try assist. Bro, outstanding. Up against a much bigger man out there, no worries. Out-energied, outrun, out-passioned, outscored. Absolutely loved it, brother. And just that smile on your face standing in front of the Eastern stand there, when you come back to halfway after scoring that try. I'll never forget that look on your face, brother. We love you, man. Keep it up, and I hope you have an even better game next week. Marcelo Montoya, big improvement from the Panthers game. I wanted to give him a 9.5 as well. 3 errors there and a handling error was just something that sort of dropped me down a little bit there. But 100% tackle efficiency coming back from last week at about 50 or 49 or something. 7 out of 7 up against, one of the best wings in the comp there. Outstanding, brother. 156 metres, 40 post contact, 5 tackle breaks, 1 try, 1 try assist. Some people sort of said Montoya's been a little bit out of form at some points, but I think even when you say that, he's probably overly criticised for things that aren't necessarily on his back. Maybe he's made a few bad decisions, and like the couple of the errors there, it's just, man, the bounce of the ball, that one that just bounced and hit him in the chest, what are you going to do? But I feel like he's been bloody consistent all year. There hasn't been much of a gap between his worst game and his best game. He's just a really constant, hard worker. The amount of miles, the amount of hits, the amount of hit-ups he's done for us this year, I can't complain, brother. Absolutely outstanding. Thank you too. Rocco Berry. Well, what an effort. I think a lot of the responsibility for tying up Ponga came down to him, and he got him a number of times with those brilliant league tackles. I gave him a 9.5 again, young fella. Still really in his first proper year of NRL. Played a little bit ad hoc there during COVID, but his first real season. And even then it was marred a lot by injuries, but he's had a pretty good run of late. Great to see him up over 100 real hard-earned metres there, but I like the fact that he's building in confidence to run and finding gaps, and I think he's wasted just trying to smash it up the middle. He's not quite solid enough for that, but when he uses his evasive skills, his speed, he showed that he's going to be a guy who becomes more and more difficult for opposition to handle. 46 post-contact metres is a pretty good effort. Tackle efficiency 85, but 17 made and 3 misses. 3 tackle breaks, 1 line break assist and 1 try. That try is a bloody good effort. To position it, get it to Dallin, for Dallin to get back at him to a twist in that tackle of 2 massive guys and get that ball down. Outstanding, brother. I've got huge belief in your potential. I hope you stick with us. Might be a bit challenging next year with RTS, depending on who they end up going for first, but stick with it, brother. I see you as one of our long-term, very, very solid centre options. Couldn't have asked for much more from you last night, so 9.5 for me. Well done. Adam Pompey. All that bullshit hate, all those angry, hateful comments last week, people should be ashamed of themselves, man. But he didn't drop his head. He just made off so much respect for him that he doesn't let that bullshit get to him. He comes out there and does his job. He was close to perfection for me as well. Look, 143 metres, 52. I think we clearly had a plan that the third hit up off our line would go to him quite wide to try and put him one-on-one there with Gagai and put that step on him. And Gagai really struggled to kind of handle him. He got those sort of half-tackle breaks a couple of times. His hands, that little pop passed on for Montoya's try, absolutely clinical. That kicking under the pressure from the sidelines, bro. How good. So proud of you, my man. Like I've said, I mentioned to him, I sent him a couple of DMs to show him a bit of support when people were out there giving him bullshit, and just sort of said to him, man, for me, he's improved every game he's played. And these past 5 weeks, he's just shown that he is a genuine quality first-grade centre and a top-class kicker now. So, outstanding from him. Well done, my brother. Look forward to seeing you out there next week. Up against probably Stags, I guess. Smash him, bro. Smash him. Don't let him get that fend on. Put that shoulder into his chest. You'll do it. Samadi Martin. So, I feel like an arsehole for giving him 8.5. I feel like that's, the way that team went yesterday, 8.5. But I feel like he took a big step up from the past couple of weeks. His fitness was up there. While he didn't contribute hugely in the way of line break assists or try assists and the like, I felt like he showed what his value is. He's the clean-up guy. Some of the hits he puts on, his kick chase, his scramble to pick things up, the things that you don't pick up in these stats just showed to me his value to this team, his calmness. So I gave him an 8.5 to not take away from what he did this week, but I still believe he's got that 15% of growth left in him with that extra game, that confidence of what happened, to start getting a little bit more creative, unlock that left-hand edge even more. So that's the only reason. It's not a criticism at all. It's just an excitement to see that extra 15% come out next weekend as we destroy the bloody Broncos. 22 metres, 11 post-contact metres, tackle efficiency 82, 23 tackles made on some big bodies there, 3 misses and 2 ineffective, 2 tackle breaks. Bro, solid as. Stoked to have you back right now. Stoked to see you like the gas getting into those legs. Really excited to see how you go next week, brother. Keep it up. Well, you almost don't need to say anything about Sean, mate. I had to give him a 10. To come back from what he's been 2 games out, almost no practice, the mental strength to be able to deliver on a calf that you know could go at any time, the ability for him to engage that line. I mean, went back and listening to the Fox commentary after the game, and Flanagan was getting so pissed off because the Knights couldn't tackle him. He was getting so close to the line, engaging them, getting those shoulders turned in and then just passing it and setting up those tries and line breaks. And they couldn't touch him. I think it was the second half before I actually saw him get properly tackled. So he kicked like a demon. The positioning of his kicks, his passing, his defence, absolutely clinical. So I had to give him a 10. There's nothing more I could have expected of him on that night. My man, outstanding. 73 minutes. I'm glad they took you off. And Webby sort of having a bit of a bloody sweat there about doing those left, right foot steps there. But it showed that the calf held up. I love that you jumped off on the east stand side there and did a bit of a lap of honour. I couldn't figure out because I couldn't see it at first. Like, why is the crowd going nuts? Then I saw as you got round to the south stand there. And it's just amazing to see how much love there is out for you. 94 running metres, close to 100 metres there. 4 post contact, 627 kicking metres. The ability to put that kick right down in their left hand and our right hand corner there. So Rocco and Dallin. Who else do we have out there? Marata or Curran when he was on for Marata. That kick chase to just get them there. The boys manning up, smashing them back and not even letting those big boys get out of their 20. Off the back of that kicking game, brother. Tackle efficiency 80%, 8 made, 2 missed, 1 ineffective, 1 tackle break, 2 try assists, 2 line break assists, and 2 forced dropouts. Clinical, bro. Absolutely clinical. Love it. Can't wait to see you go loose on bloody Reynolds next week. Prove that you are the Dally M halfback of the year. It's a shame you might not get to play international footy because I would love to see you get the golden boot as well, bro. Keep it up. Got to get us to bloody Sydney on October 1st, mate. I got those tickets waiting for us. AFB. It was interesting. I think it was a great sign that Webby was so confident that we were able to deliver without him. He left him on the bench for a long time there between his first and second stint. Had we not had injuries, I think he might have even stayed off for the whole of the second half, freshen him up for Payne next week. I gave him a 9, even though he only played 42 minutes. That's probably at least 20 less than he normally would. But 10 runs for 117 metres and 50 post-contact metres, so only Saifidi ran for more than him, and he only played 42 minutes. Tackle efficiency, 89, 16 tackles, no misses, 2 ineffective, 1 line break, 2 tackle breaks, 1 try. Bro, I just love that pose. When he gets that try, the south stand went nuts. Man, absolute beast, and I'm glad you got a bit of time to rest because we're just going to need you to, man, just smash up on old Payne next week. Hope those legs are feeling good. I just can't wait to see you guys, clash. I've got your back, bro. I reckon you're going to smash him. Alrighty, Mitch Barnett. Again, a lot of people question whether he was going to be a genuine prop. Maybe is he? In some clubs, he'd probably be a 13, but for us, we're relying on him to play prop, and the numbers he's delivering are world-class prop numbers. So I gave him a 9.5 for his 49 minutes, 15 runs, 151 metres, 67 post-contact. I think that was the most for our team. Tackle efficiency 84% with 22 made, 3 missed and 1 ineffective. I've got no problem with that because when you come out of the line like he does, you're going to get the odd miss. But shit, that hit front on with Maju when you sort of was just starting to accelerate towards the line, and Barnett just smashed them. That's why I think he just brings out a intimidation factor on defence, him and Jazz, when they bring off those big hits. 2 tackle breaks, class, bro. Definitely one of those tide risers who came to the club and lifted a level. So not much more I could have asked from him. You're going to have to play massive next week, bro, up against that pack, and I back you to do it. There's some real big boys who work hard there alongside Payne Haas. We're going to need you to back up AFB. 100% confidence you can do it. Thanks, bro. Wade Egan. His stats weren't huge again this week, but I gave him a 9.5 because there are no stats that show his ruck manipulation. Just his ability to engage their line with the no-look passes on the button. Just such a machine, and it's great to see the Aussie pundits starting to recognise that and starting to rate him, well up there in the top 3 hookers in the comp now. Look, I gave him a 9.5 for that reason. He played 67 minutes. I'm glad they took him off. I don't think they were head knocks, but he took some heavy knocks. And I figure once you're up, he's so vital. He's right up there with AFB, SJ and Tohu as far as our 4 key players. To get him off healthy, he had 4 runs for 42 metres, 21 post contact. And he's so quick out of dummy half now to get them on their back foot, getting us some forward momentum at some tough times. But I'll just go back to his ruck manipulation. He almost got those 2 tries. He's the guy who makes a lot of our tries out wide possible, because he just commits those, the 1 and 2, or what they call them, the A defenders, like the first defender outside the ruck. They turn into him. That gives SJ that little bit of extra time. 88% tackle efficiency, 36 tackles in just 67 minutes with 2 misses and 3 ineffectives. Enough said, bro. Legend. Jackson Ford. I came close to giving him 10 as well. The only reason I couldn't is that offload from, I think it was Tamati, to him, but he just wasn't quite looking. I think he thought he was a dummy runner there, and it just bounced off him, which is it's a frustration. So I couldn't quite give him a 10, but shit, he came close. 80 minutes. He never puts his hands on his knees. He just runs and runs. 17 runs, 188 metres, 67 post contact, 96% tackle efficiency, 45 tackles, people, and 2 misses. The work the boy got through last night, and again, it's there's definitely those who are Ford and those who are Curran fans. I love them both, but when you see a game like this, you can't question him. First real year of genuine first grade footy, and he's made that position his own. So stoked he came another tide riser. 6 tackle breaks and a forced dropout. Great kick there. I had the lines mixed up. I thought it had gone dead, but it just sat up perfectly. We get the dropout, bro. And he's just like, he's so, humble kind of guy. He's not out there getting grumpy or angry. Just, he just never seems to change. Doesn't seem to get overly excited. Doesn't get angry. Just does his thing. Plods around. It's just so odd for a guy just doing so much work. So, well done, Ford. Massive fan. Had a bit of man love since back in the beginning there. Marata near quarter. I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only one there shaking my head thinking, damn, that's him gone for the season. I gave him an 8.5 purely for his sort of... it impacted his minutes, and I think his second stint he wasn't quite as destructive because of that knee, but shit, how awesome that he was able to come back on with that. 9 runs, 75 metres, 36 post contact, tackle efficiency 80%, 20 tackles, 1 missed, 4 ineffective, 1 tackle break. The game didn't really come to him that much. Ford, it seemed to come his way. I mean, Ford went hungry. He went looking for a lot of hit-ups. I think he made 16 hit-ups. Had Marata not got injured, I think he would have genuinely come into his own as well and probably would have played slightly bigger minutes. And, he hit the line hard and he put some big hits on, so he made his presence felt. But again, because of the injury, I think he's still got 15% left to contribute. I just pray that it's kind of like Rocco's one, that it tapes up. It might not be the most stable, but he's able to play at 99% next week, because we're definitely going to need him out there against the likes of Ricky and that. Bro, I hope you're all good. Hope you're back next week. Thanks for playing on that dodgy knee. Captain Fantastic. Tohu, I couldn't but give him a 10 as well. There's nothing more you could expect from a guy in that situation. 80 minutes at his age, as broken as he is, clutching at sternums and shoulders, and the guy's trying to pull him off and just not going off. 25 runs, 228 metres, 61 post contact, 91% tackle efficiency, 39 tackles, 2 misses and 2 ineffective, 3 tackle breaks. I don't know how many times that ball went through his hands. Don't know how many times he just took those hit-ups and got smashed and things were slightly out of sync or whatever. The epitome of mana for me. The absolute epitome of mana. Like, when he first became captain, I had I've never been a huge fan of quiet captains, and I love Simon Mannering, but I was never really sure. I mean, this is just from the outside, guys. Like, shit, I'm sure that the players who play with him love them being captain, but I've always kind of liked a captain who leads by the way, but also has a verbal presence. And I felt Tohu was a little bit sort of humble in his first couple of seasons, but this year under Cappy, I was going Webby, he's really blossomed. I think he's really found his voice. I love the way he's able to engage with the refs in a way that's not intimidating. It doesn't piss them off, but he keeps them on their toes. I love the relationship between him and Webby in those post-game conferences. Like, he's so cute when he just gets that little smiley face, and you just can't help but love him. It's just like he's one of those guys that you'd want your sister to marry, man. What an absolute legend. So I can't say much more. 10 out of 10 for me, brother. I just pray that body holds up for 2 more games. 2 more games, my man, and then a nice long off season and a lot of sun and spa pools and the like. Dylan Walker. Was an interesting game from him. I think he came on a little bit later than normal by a couple of minutes. Was used a little bit differently, but I felt like he was involved in the tight a little bit more. He wasn't as flamboyant as normal. Great try though. Great try. So it's hard. Yeah, it was tough actually going back, and I've watched the game twice. I watched it, kind of flick through pretty quickly on Saturday night, or last night when I got back to the hotel on my phone. Then I watched it again on the plane, and it was really hard to watch it without emotion. Even the second time I watched it, so the third time I've seen the game, because I was just so emotionally attached to it having been there. So to be honest, I'd really need to go back and watch this a fourth time and sort of analyse how these guys were moving around to give a completely accurate assessment on why it was he seemed a little bit quieter. But I felt like he still made his presence felt. I thought he just slotted in there and put in some good kicks once SJ went off. So it shows, that worst case scenario, we do lose him for 20 minutes at an end of a game, he can come in and do it. So I gave him a 9 out of 10 for his 34 minutes. He'd normally play more. I think he's normally up around close to the 60. 12 runs, 94 metres, 19 post contact, 96% tackle efficiency, 26 tackles, 0 misses and 1 ineffective. 3 tackle breaks, 1 line break and a try. Just when he went back under the post there in front of the south stand after his try, and he's just like, come on, it's just the crowd going nuts. I love the way guys like him get them involved and rack the crowd up. He obviously thrives on that sort of energy, so awesome, bro. Hope to see you step it up even more next week. We're going to need that line speed and the foot speed up against that fast Broncos pack. Josh Curran, I feel like a bit of a dick giving him an 8.5 as well, but I think that was just his impact was limited by his broken finger or dislocated finger, whatever it was. It didn't look pretty. I don't like looking at that stuff. So it limited, that probably the impact from after that injury. That he still got involved, but for the 39 minutes there, just the 56 metres and the 27 post contact, there's 23 tackles. At 85%, you have the 2 misses and 2 ineffective and the 1 tackle break. I think, again, that might be just the play didn't come to him as much as it did Ford. He just didn't quite feel as involved as he has been over the past couple of weeks, because he's been immense, particularly playing, I think it was last week he played the 80 minutes, or was it the week before? So look, no disrespect whatsoever, he still had an outstanding game, but I just think if that finger's right, he's 15% better than that. Or has the potential to deliver 15% more. So, bro, outstanding, particularly to stay out there after that. Man, to sit there having someone yank your finger back into place, bit of tape, and away you go, bro. Hope you're right to play this weekend as well. We massively need that impact off the bench or whether you start. Bailey Sirenen, shit. Again, he's finally finding his zone. Shit, I love him in the middle. The speed, the intensity that he's brought, but this week when he jumped into dummy half there after Egan went off, seamless. That ruck deception to get that try, outstanding. That line break, I thought it was a complete line break he got there, but I just thought he had an outstanding impact. close to the biggest out of the boys off the bench, to be honest. And that's something I didn't really see a huge amount of him earlier on in the season. So it's disappointing to see these going, and I hope an NRL club picks him up because he's too good to be going over the Super League just yet. He's the kind of guy like St George want to get. He'd be a tide riser for them. Just his versatility there, I think with the way he's played recently, I think he'd be a really good starting 13. He's got the ball skills there with having played at hooker. So really sad to see you go, bro. But we've got 2 more games for you to play before then. Keep up the effort, mate. That's a 9.5 for me. 9.5 all day. My bro Jazz Tavaya, I feel like a bit of a dick giving him an 8.5 as well, but I think he picked up like a hip or a quad injury. Hence, he just played the 19 minutes. Was on D right on our line there. He got sort of caught up in a tackle that he made, and he was on his haunches for a bit there, and he went off pretty soon after that. So hoping that they left him off as protection to get it right for next week. I hope it's just kind of like an impact injury, not a soft tissue, because bro, that guy's had such a shit year this year with luck with injuries. I hope it was just protection. He need to keep him off there. But 7 runs for 71 metres and 33 post contact. So metres for runs, right up there with everyone else on the field there. But 86% tackle efficiency, 12 tackles, 1 missed, 1 ineffective. Some people question whether, do you need the bigger body and Bunty? For me, it's just the energy Jazz brings, and had he not been injured, he's that guy you can bring on to turn a game late in there. That energy we saw like a couple of times when we started to lose the ruck there, and we bored him on, and he just brings that energy, the leg speed, holds his own against much bigger bodies. You're like sitting there watching him after the game, that he's smaller than Dylan, like height-wise. To be out there mixing it with these 120, 130 kg props, absolutely outstanding, brother. I just pray you're right for next week. We've got to have you out there. We've got to have this best team. We've got to have the boys fit and ready to fire, because anything less than 100% is going to be bloody tough up against the Broncos. So I hope you're good, bro. It's nice to shake your hand there at the end of the game there. Finally have a chance to say a quick g'day there. Freezing cold standing out there doing the Sky interview, but man, outstanding. So in summary, chap, I'm out of words. I'm out of energy a bit as well. I only slept about 5 hours last night, but I'm just so content. I didn't try to emotionally get too amped for the game through fear that SJ might not play, things might not go our way. But as soon as I saw that first couple of sets, it just went through the roof. I just sat again. To be part of that crowd is something I'll never ever forget, people. Everyone who was there, who was a part of it, absolutely outstanding. For those who weren't able to make it, I know you were shouting and chanting probably back at home as well. It's going to be a massive game this week over there in Brisbane. I just pray that all the Kiwis on the Queensland coast there, or the Brisbane, can get those tickets, get to that ground and get the chance going. Pray that Warriors Nation's there with his drum, because we want to make a presence, we want to make ourselves felt. If we can tie up Walsh like we tied up Ponga, if SJ can get that kicking game and win that kicking game over Reynolds, if AFB can outpower Payne Haas, there's no reason we can't win this. And if we win that, boys, I've got those tickets for the grand final. It's been a dream for so bloody long. I can't wait. We'll be back again on Team Naming Tuesday. With a bit of luck, we might be doing a live tomorrow night on Warriors Fanatics YouTube channel. We're just trying to figure out the logistics here with a whole bunch of us Warriors creators are going to do a joint live. We'll spread out some word about that once it's all sorted out tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. It could be first chance to see a whole bunch of us crazy people there. I think it's Hold the Ball, there's Wise Up, there's Ash Taylor, there's Fanatics. Not 100% sure who else is in there. I've been a bit tied up to check and go through all the list. Sorry if I've missed anyone, but it's going to be a big one, so hopefully we'll see you for that. And I'll be doing an Insta live on Tuesday night with my bro Wise Up. So jump on his account from 9 o'clock on Tuesday night, and let's have a bit of a yarn about the team that gets named, eh? That's us. See you all in a week's time. to review another win over the Broncos and get ready for the grand final. My mighty Warriors, massive thank you to the guys who sorted me out with the tickets on the weekend. You know who you are. Woo! We did it. Onwards and upwards. We play again.